The State Savings Loan and Trust Company is said to be one of Quincy's finest examples of Richardsonian Romanesque architecture, one of the premier architectural monuments of Quincy, and one of the most impressive landmarks on Washington Square. Now, the original left half of the structure was designed in 1892 by the Chicago architects Patton and Fisher for then-prominent Quincy bankers Lorenzo and Charles H. Bull. The well-known Quincy architect Ernest M. Wood designed the addition on the right half of the building in 1906. Wood's extension of the building is in complete harmony with the style of the original. Constructed of pink Missouri granite, the building's exterior is graced by handsomely carved Romanesque decorative details, massive iron and oak doors, and beautiful curvilinear window grills of wrought iron. The 5 heavy arches over the storefront windows are typical of the Richardsonian Romanesque style. The interior still has its banking counterfronts. It's rich with extensive wood paneling and adorns a tile mosaic floor bordered in a vaguely French Renaissance design. The large banking area was historically illuminated by skylights which reached down through the upper story. Unfortunately, the skylights were removed in the 1920s. The State Savings Loan and Trust Bank, also known as Bull's Bank, grew from the commercial and financial enterprises of the brothers Lorenzo and Charles H. Bull, who began in the hardware business first as clerks and then entrepreneurs, then eventually moved on to banking. The State Savings Bank is a continuation of the banking firm that the brothers established in 1891, formerly known as L&CH Bull Merchants and Farmers National Bank, that developed into the most successful banking house in the state outside Chicago. In 1893, the business was reorganized and the name changed to the State Savings Loan and Trust Company. The brothers also became Quincy's most prominent civic leaders, devoting their energies to the city's cultural and economic growth. They were the principal promoters of the development of Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad, along with a son-in-law and partner, E.J. Parker. The brothers fostered the development of Quincy's boulevard and park system that was designed by O.C. Simons. They even promoted the growth of the free public library and reading room. As a member of the library board, Lorenzo had first-hand exposure to the Patton and Fisher's work of the recently completed Free Public Library and Reading Room building down the street. Lorenzo was impressed by the Chicago architectural firm's ability and great work on the library in 1888, so he commissioned them to design his bank. Although it was successful during the turn of the century, state savings faltered during the early stages of the Great Depression and eventually closing in November of 1930. It reopened in April of 1931 but could not survive the transfer of a trust fund to a St. Louis bank less than a year later and was closed. Following the bank's closing in 1932, it had several owners and was planned for demolition. Thankfully, George M. Irwin acquired the property in 1964 and did major renovation and restoration. This preserved the bank's main room for community gatherings, and since its restoration, the building has been used for commercial and retail purposes. This bank is an important provincial work by a prominent architectural firm of the late 19th century. Its design, along with the public library, gave additional momentum to Richardsonesque designs by local architectural practitioners. Because of its architectural and cultural significance, the State Savings Loan and Trust Company was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1979. This Historic Quincy Business District podcast was produced by WGEM. Special thanks to the Gardner-Denver Museum of Architecture and Design, the Historical Society of Quincy and Adams County, and Quincy Preserves for providing information. For more information, you can visit www.downtownquincy.com or walk to the HQBD office at 128 North 5th Street. I'm WGEM's Rich Kane.